What's up guys, welcome to the part 5 of this video series. In this video I am going to refit back the oil pan after changing the gasket, and I am going to reinstall the subframe. And now, as you can see, I am starting cleaning up the engine block. I am using here a plastic blade to remove the old RTV. Then I am going to use a sanding block and a degreaser to clean up all the area on the engine block. When it comes to cleaning, I am really taking my time here, and I am doing it very carefully. And this makes me wonder if the guys at the workshop are also doing it like this, but guess what? I think not. So that's why I am doing this work by myself. Here I am cleaning the oil level sensor. I have already cleaned up the oil pan from the inside and the outside. It was a long process really, and a dirty process also. I have used all the possible brushes and detergents and degreasers. To get the oil pan that clean, it took me really a long time, but I don't care about the time here because this car is not my daily driver. I am using here a teeth brush to clean the holes of the screws also. This is the new gasket. It's a good idea to fix the gasket on the oil pan using zip ties. The threaded holes on the block should be also clean. And to check that everything is clean, I have used one screw of the oil pan. I hate stripping threads, that's why I am doing this. Now, time to reinstall the oil pan. I took the steering pump out of my way using a zip tie. Very important, RTV sealant. I am going to use here dry bond. This is what BMW uses, but you can use another brand. It should be fine. The sealant should be applied in two areas. I am starting here with the first area where the timing chain cover joined the cylinder block. The second area should be where the crankshaft rear oil seal housing joined the block, what I am not showing here. The RTV sealant coat should be 3 to 4 millimeters wide, that's enough. After applying the sealant, you gotta be quick. So this is what I am trying to do here, refitting back the oil pan as fast as possible before the sealant dries out. When the pan is aligned, now time to fix it with some screws, just to hold it in place. I was putting back some screws on the both sides just by hand at the first step. And don't forget before tightening the screws to remove the zip ties. I was putting back the screws of the pan in a way to keep the pressure equal on the both sides. At the first step, the screw should be slightly tightened, you know. Then apply the specific torque. For the pen it is 10 Newton meter. And again, for the specific torque in this project, please refer to the description below. The rear screws of the pen connected to the gearbox, I will keep them for a further step. Now I want to care about the front axle, I want to clean it up, and I want to refresh the subframe before refitting it back. And welcome to another cleaning episode. I am using, like always, a universal cleaner, degreaser, and a brush. The leaking oil was everywhere. I have noticed some rust on the subframe, and I thought it was a good idea to care about it before it becomes a serious problem. I was squirting the rust with a brush at the first step, and a degreaser to remove the rust dust. Then I am going to use this rust converter. And finally, and for more protection, I am going to apply a coat of car paint. And look at this, I am so quite happy with the result. Before putting back the dipstick, I am going to clean it also. Maybe it is time to change that O-ring if you didn't before. I did the CCV system the last year and I have already renewed that O-ring, so I am not going to change it. Installing the dipstick back in place. Don't forget that connection to the CCV system, the oil return line. I am using here a silicone spray to make it easier fitting back that line. Engine mounts, time to change them. Actually, the old ones are still good, but I am going to change them anyway because it is the best opportunity to change the engine mounts. Otherwise, I have to redo the same work from the beginning. The engine mounts on this car are exactly the same, left and right, so don't worry about this. They have exactly the same part number. On the bottom of the engine mount, there is a pin that will center it on the subframe. The best way to refit the engine mounts is to fix them on the subframe and not on the engine, otherwise it will be difficult to center the subframe afterwards. I have used two jacks to center the subframe back in place. This is the best way that worked for me, and I had the possibility to move the subframe back and forth till I got it centered. There is two major things to consider when centering back the subframe in place. The first thing is to reinstall the column into that steering joint. Then you have to make sure to center the engine mounts into the engine brackets. You can move also the engine a little bit to help centering the subframe. Now the engine crossmember is not 100% centered, but using the bolts will help very much. And by doing so, helped me remove the jacks and getting more space under the subframe. According to the manual, the rear bolts of the subframe should be the first to be tightened. I'm starting with the passenger side, then with the driver side, then the front bolts.
Now the final check.
Back to the oil pan, I am refitting back the screws connected to the gearbox. Reconnecting the oil level sensor on the oil pan. Remove the engine support frame. Refitting the nuts of the engine mounts on the engine brackets. I got a closer shot of that steering joint. I want to show you why the screw should be removed completely before lowering the subframe. You see that slot on the column? This is where the screw goes through and blocks the column in the joint. I didn't knew this before, so that's why I am showing it to you now. Get that slot in the column aligned with the hole, and then you can refit back that bolt. Refitting the lower control arms on the both sides. Well, that hurts. This is the end of the part 5 of this project, and the next video will be the part 6. It will be dedicated to the Vanus rebuild. For more information, please refer to the description below, and thanks for watching. See you next time.